We saw the mummy. He's coming for us!
What's going on, Review Tards? It's Mike.
And he's my setapai.
Alright, jumping right off, Mike. What'd you think of this?
Oh, man, there's so much violence in the Middle East. Well, the movie starts off with them in the Middle East looking for treasure.
Yeah. They were trying to,
Find Hamara.
they were trying to eradicate it and then sell it on the black market.
Yes. So Tom Cruise plays Nick something.
Nick something.
He's like in the army, but he's like a black market art salesman. Followed by his sidekick Jake Johnson. They're not good people, and that makes it kind of hard to like them throughout this movie.
I mean, I think Tom Cruise is adorable, but he's a little weird. Yeah.
Like anytime you see a movie, it's just like, man, I hope he doesn't decide he wants to marry this woman, because she will be kidnapped like Katie Holmes was for. How long was it?
A couple of years.
Yeah. You know, he doesn't even talk to his kid.
Really?
Surrey. Remember how big of a deal Surrey
Oh,
Cruise
shit.
was?
He does have a kid.
Yeah.
Katie had a baby, so I guess Tom's straight.
Before the movie even gets going, Universal, didn't you feel it was kind of out of place? They just put the Dark Universe as like a logo right there, like they want it to be their Marvel Studios or their DC Comics logo before the movie, and it's like, this is your first movie, man. It's not even like up and running yet, and you're just saying, we're doing this.
Right.
I mean, props, the balls, props, but just...
I mean, I really enjoy the old monster movies.
Yeah.
Those are good, and
They
still
hold up,
hold
too.
up.
Oh, yeah.
But to try to then follow up with this reboot of a monster universe.
Well, did you like, obviously the Benicio del Toro Wolfman wasn't that good, but the Brendan Fraser movies were pretty fun. At least I enjoyed them. You can look online and they get torn apart in reviews all over the place, but those movies had a fucking following.
Which this is nothing like those.
No, this is completely different. A lot of people you see online are saying like, "Oh, this is Brendan Fraser's franchise reboot." It's not.
Completely different.
This is something they're working towards completely different. So we went in with that mindset, and I think that's why we enjoyed this film a little bit more than these other reviewers seem to be doing. Like,
if you look at the reviews online, the critics are tearing it apart.
A lot of the stuff we're seeing is attributing it to Tom. People are saying this is Tom Cruise's worst film. This is in no way fucking Tom Cruise's worst film.
In fact, when we left, we were kind of praising him.
Yeah.
Like, dude, Tom Cruise kind of killed it in that.
I thought he outacted fucking Russell Crowe in this movie.
I thought he did a great job, too.
And that's saying a lot. I mean, granted, I thought Russell Crowe was actually one of the weak points of this movie. But, I mean, the second half of this movie are pretty good. Like, they keep you little bits of action chugging through. Are we doing spoilers this time?
It says it. Why can't you just read?
Why are you yelling at them?
I don't know. But yes.
Just relax.
We're doing spoilers.
Okay. So, Russell Crowe plays Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. For those like, did you see The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
Love it.
Were you expecting? I do too.
I don't know why people hate that movie.
People fucking hate it.
I love that movie.
I know. I think we grew up with it as a kid. We probably saw it and we liked it, and so the nostalgia keeps it good. But I mean, I never read the comics, so that might be why I like it.
Nostalgia is a powerful drug.
Oh, remember League.
But
Gentlemen.
for me, this movie kind of breaks up into two small movies. It's before they enter the
Prodigium
facility, and then afterwards. Because for me, as soon as they took a step back out of reality and more into a fantasy kind of light, they really opened up so you can play with your toys for me.
Yeah. Do you think this movie got hurt by the fact that they were trying to set up their universe here? Like a BVS
I think
effect?
all do when you're trying to kind of set the groundworks. Yeah. So yes.
Russell Crowe feels very out of place, and if you watch this movie, you will see what we're talking about. He's got his own agenda. Like I heard an interview with Alex Kurtzman, the director, and he was like, well, these two characters are mirror characters fighting the monsters inside. And you don't get that. It feels like Russell Crowe's just there because it's like, hey, look at Dr. Jekyll. He's a part of this universe.
Was that your biggest weakness?
For me, yeah, it was. I enjoyed everything else.
For me, I think the biggest weakness was it didn't know what it was. It was like, is it a comedy? Is it a monster film? Is it trying to...
There were some legitimate scares to this movie.
It was, but there was also some legitimate comedy.
Yeah.
So it's like you're laughing, then you're scared, so you're kind of this back and
Jake
forth.
Johnson, man.
Dude, I mean, the guy's fucking hilarious.
So obviously we said we're doing spoilers. We just want to, They introduced something at the very end of this movie. Tom Cruise ends up becoming the Mummy, which I called happening. Everybody was like, "Oh,
you need a mummy if you're going to do the Dark Universe thing."
Everybody was like, "Oh, he'll probably end up being like Van Helsing or something like that, a relative or something." I was like, "Well, you see him die in the trailer. There's no way he survives that plane crash, and the plane crash is 10 minutes into the movie."
Even in the trailer, you see him come back from the dead.
Yeah,
in the morgue.
So obviously they're setting him up to he's dead. He is back from the dead. He's a mummy already, technically, or a zombie, whatever. But he gets the powers of the mummy, the Egyptian god Set, which is the god of the dead. Yes. Which I had a little. Wasn't it always Anubis was the god of the dead in Egyptian mythology?
I don't know my Egyptian mythology, but it might be.
I don't remember. I just remember, or him being the guardian of the dead or something like that. But anyways, I digress. What he ends up ending the movie with the power to bring people back from the dead, which is kind of how do I say, stupid. It works for the fact that it brings back two characters you like through the movie, and you're like, okay, cool, fine, they're back. Don't do it again. Do not do it again. Forget this power happened. Whatever you gotta do going on, because it's the Dragon Ball effect. When you take away the element of life or death, things lose their stakes. Mm-hmm. And you have done that in your first movie.
One of my actually favorite parts of this was the Easter eggs inside of it. You kind of they kind of shed a light onto some of the other stuff that might be coming in the future.
There's the first thing they show is like a giant squid. They show a vampire skull, the hand from one of the creatures from the Black Lagoon, which if they're going to do that, which they also said that Universal's distributing certain movie rights out to Blumhouse Pictures so that they can do like smaller budget straight horror films of those movies and then bring them into the universe.
I mean, they also had a callback to the first Mummy with the book.
Yeah.
What was it, the Book of the Dead?
Book of the Dead, yeah. She Annabelle Wallis clocked somebody in the head with it. I got a good kick out of that because I'm like, hey, because to me, like, Brendan Fraser was my Indiana Jones. I didn't grow up watching Indy. The first Indiana Jones movie I saw was Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and even then I knew it was bad. But, Brendan Fraser was my action hero as a kid, like, for those Mummy movies. I thought he was awesome.
And then Monkey Bone came out, and he just went...
Yeah, dude, he's so high right now. I think my actual favorite aspect of this movie was, and I get he's the comedic relief, but Jake Johnson, his character is essentially a ghost, which you had a problem with. You didn't understand.
I didn't have a problem with it.
I did not understand why only he could see him.
They didn't explain it.
Because he had died. He was connected to the death. Anyways, I digress. I digress. Jake Johnson is essentially the American Werewolf in London best friend who dies but haunts his friend. He's like, you're cursed, you're gonna die. That was a cool little nod, having him be that. But if you had to give this movie a rating, what would it be?
See, it's interesting because I feel like a lot of people are gonna not see it because of the reviews online.
Yeah.
I would say ignore them. Just watch this one. That's it.
Yeah.
Go check it out, especially because it's the kickoff of the Dark Universe, and if you love monster movies, it's a great spot for you to start off.
Yeah.
I mean, I had my issues with it, but I mean,
there's an enjoyable movie around it. Yeah,
it's fun, and then I would say go check it out in theaters.
Definitely check it out in theaters for me. I think this is worth the price of admission. Just to at least see where they want to take this. I mean, it was worth more money than fucking BVS, in my opinion.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah, so if you want to see a jumbled movie that actually comes out pretty decent, go see this.
As always, he's been Mike.
And he's my set the pie.
Don't touch me. Oh, God damn it.
Keep it tight.